Going into the new year, the fight between the British Empire and the associates of Lyndon LaRouche continues to escalate around whether to keep propping up this dead financial system through continued bailouts, through the lowering of interest rates and economic stimulus packages, or whether to put the current system through a bankruptcy reorganization and institute Lyndon LaRouche's new Bretton Woods agreement between Russia, China, India, and the United States. Now in Italy, this fight has reached a breaking point within the past weeks following LaRouche's intervention into the European Parliament in Strasbourg, France, where Mr. LaRouche highlighted the absolute insanity of the recent push by the central banks all over the United States and Europe in lowering interest rates and paving the way for hyperinflation, and the importance of adopting his policy of a bankruptcy reorganization and the creation of a fixed exchange rate international credit system. Now immediately, coverage of LaRouche's intervention was broadcast and was picked up by media sources all over Italy and all over Europe, with Mr. LaRouche giving follow-up interviews to 2 national news programs in Italy. The next day, at the ECOFIN summit in Paris on December 18th, which was keynoted by the head of the Bank of Italy and the head of the Financial Stability Forum, Mario Draghi, Italian economics minister Giulio Tremonti came out, echoing LaRouche and attacking the FSF for promoting and further aggravating the financial crisis. Tremonti criticized the lowering of the U.S. Federal Reserve rate to 0% and called it mad to listen to those who, like Draghi and the FSF, haven't understood anything about the crisis. Tremonti said, in relation to the financial crisis, quote, "It is demential to listen and to take lessons from those who did not understand anything or who have understood much and have done everything wrong." End quote. Now today, the FSF is a pivot of Gordon Brown's attempts at saving the bankrupt financial and monetary system. In 1999, on Brown's suggestion, Mario Draghi was appointed the chairman of the Financial Stability Forum. The FSF was created by the British following the long-term capital management crash in 1998, in order to prevent, in former President Clinton's words, a new financial architecture, that is the new Bretton Woods plan of Lyndon LaRouche, from being established. The FSF, in truth, is nothing but a tool of the British-controlled private central bank system. The FSF headquarters are in the Basel office of the Bank for International Settlements, the central bank of central banks, established in 1930 by the British Empire. The BIS is so infamous that the U.S. government wanted to abolish it as part of the Bretton Woods agreements because of its role in aiding the Nazis. Now, Tremonti's attack has since polarized the entire Italian political world, and now the British have fired back, this time using geopolitical games to get rid of Tremonti. The British-backed financier crowd, centered around Draghi, has since run an intense media and political slander campaign, including putting pressure on Prime Minister Berlusconi to call for Tremonti's ouster. Now, Mario Draghi is the leader of the Italian crowd better known to us as the Britannia faction, a crowd of bankers, economists, and politicians working to promote the financial and political policies of the British Empire within Europe. In 1994, with Draghi appointed chairman of the Privatizations Committee, this British faction pushed to privatize and to deregulate all of Italy's industrial production and infrastructure systems, placing Italy under the whims of the free market. But Italy was not the only target. The goal was to break the sovereignty of all of Europe. Now, to accomplish this crowd met in June of 1992 on Queen Elizabeth's royal yacht, the HMS Britannia, off the coast of Italy, and held a secretive meeting accompanied by top London and European central bankers, by currency speculators such as our dear friend George Soros, by the anti-state group within the Italian government, and the Italian leadership of the state-owned industries, plotting to destroy the European monetary system and to secure the privatization of Italy's public industries and wealth. Now, Mario Draghi, in his function as Director General of the Italian Treasury Ministry, gave the keynote speech at that gathering, saying that Italy's political system was the obstacle to economic reforms in Italy. Following this meeting, George Soros and his collaborators ran a massive currency speculation against the Italian lira, against the British pound, the French franc, and the other European currencies, eventually forcing a 30% devaluation in the lira, which not only destroyed the currency, but forced it to go off the EMS, bringing down the entire European monetary system and paving the way for the euro. Similarly, Antonio Di Pietro, in collaboration with Transparency International, ran Operation Clean Hands against the Italian government, using the pretext of corruption and the investigation of corporate bribes to politicians to destroy the entire Italian political system. As a result of this operation, all of the political parties which had founded the Italian Republic, which had written up its constitution, and which had fought against the system of free trade and globalization, were ousted from the Italian parliament. Others within this Britannia faction have paved the way to hook Europe on the euro and to eliminate the sovereignty of the nations of Europe. This included Alberto Giovannini, who was head of the Giovannini Group at the EU Commission, who not only prepared the transition for Europe to the euro, but was also a manager for LTCM during the 1998 LTCM crisis. And of course, Alberto Alessina, who has shaped the ideology of the separatist factions in Belgium today. Now, since the early 90s, this is the British-led faction that has pushed the system of globalization and of speculation, that has taken down the entirety of Europe's industrial and productive capacity, that has collapsed the standard of living of the populace, and has run and funded much of the chaos and terror operations within the European Union. They have no allegiance to any nation or to the promotion of the general welfare of any people, but are instead part of the international oligarchical slime mold which is running the failing economic system today. So when we speak of this faction around Mario Draghi, we are speaking about the same policies as Gordon Brown's new Bretton Woods, or, Bretton Woods system. Basically, saving this current financial system, eliminating sovereign nations, and consolidating full control over banking and regulatory institutions worldwide. Now, Lyndon LaRouche and his associates, Tremonti, and the Gaullist traditions around President Nicolas Sarkozy of France represent the only point of reference for those who want to rid Europe and the world of this insane oligarchical system and replace it instead with LaRouche's FDR solution. As we head into 2009, the economic crisis is entering into a more acute phase of the present hyperinflationary collapse. And the real fight in history right now is between the British Empire, that is the continuation of this oligarchical system, which is characterized by a drastic collapse of the population within the next 1 to 2 generations, and Lyndon LaRouche's system of physical economy, which is characterized by an increase in the standard of living and an increase in the potential relative population density of this planet as a whole. The solution today lies with what Lyndon LaRouche and Tremonti are pushing. Without this, the Berlusconi government of Italy and the rest of Europe are finished.